All right, before I run through a couple of announcements, does anybody else have any announcements? Robert, anybody want to have anything you want to go over before I start into some things?
No, not at this time.
Okay, yeah. At any point, if you know during a break or afterwards, if you've got anything that you remember or want to talk about, we'll do it. I want to let everybody know since the last time we were here, we had our annual board of directors retreat and planning meeting where we got together and we planned a lot of stuff for next year. We have all the assignments are created for next year, and some special events are in the works that you'll be finding out about as we hash out the details on it. Just so you know, when we go away and do these things, we went away for a couple days up to Amelia Island and did a lot of photography up there and eating and photography in between our meetings that we had. But just so you know, not any money at all from the club budget goes into that. We all foot the bill out of our own pocket to do that and be there and do this planning. We the budget we have for the camera club goes to speakers and other expenses. We don't take out of it for doing that. That was all out of our pocket to pay for the lodging and everything else we did up there. One of the reasons we do that, so you know, is not only does it give us a chance to get together and stay together for a while and discuss and plan things, but we plan these photography outings while we're there because that's what this is all about. It gives all of us a chance to get our heads into photography for a couple days, which puts us, in a mental, position to think about photography for the club and what we want to do for the club. So having us all get out and do some photography outings in between our meetings and restaurants and bars was puts us in the right frame of mind to plan for assignments and everything. And on a side note regarding one of the assignments, we did a little video thing this year with time lapse, and I was really impressed with some of the entries that we had, the creative things that were done with that, and we love that so much that one of the assignments again next year is going to be a video assignment. So start thinking about that, and I'm going to start up. If anybody messages me in the chat to let me know they're interested, I'm willing to start doing some online every other week or so via Zoom, just some very basic video for beginners stuff to help people get on board with that. So, just free, no charge. I've got a donation page on my website if you feel that you like and are getting some value out of anything. Otherwise, like I say, if you're interested in it and want to get some additional information, under your belt for getting on board with video and our video assignment and doing some creativity with video just for yourself, I'm willing to start doing a couple online classes to get people started. So if you have an interest, just send me a message in the chat. I'll check that by the end of the night and see who's interested in that. So yeah, and I did make speaking of video, I made a highlight video of our board of directors retreat and planning session that if anybody wants to see it at the end of the meeting tonight, if we have time, I'll play that. That's I'm not going to worry about that right now. Trying to think if I have anything else. I think everybody's on board with knowing what's going on with tomorrow with the night sky outing. Somebody did ask a good question. When to be there. 3 o'clock or after is good to be there for anybody that's showing up for that tomorrow. And during the break or after the meeting, anybody that's planning on being there has any questions or anything, go ahead and ask me. We'll hold off on that till later. So, any other questions or anything before we get rolling right into the content here?
Yes, there's one more thing, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the board and the retreat and the planning and all of that, those great things about the club, we are having a election next month of the entire board. So if you love what we've done in the past couple of years, then vote us back in. If you don't particularly care for what we've done, then find a new club.
Speaker of the House.
So I just want to remind you that
Are you
the
sure
vote-
you're not part Italian?
is that
Robert, what was your position again?
You guys are staying there forever.
I have a legitimate question, if I can.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Is anyone here aware of anybody who wants to not resume their role? Anybody who wants out, basically.
Oh, are you asking if there's anybody on the board that doesn't want to be on the board anymore?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but at least speaking for myself.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anybody that is saying, "Oh, I want out. I want to step down." But
In that case, I nominate everybody.
but we hold elections for a reason. If somebody feels strongly about wanting to get on the board and and wants to campaign to do that, by all means, that's what the elections are for. And maybe I shouldn't show that video. We had so much fun. We'll have a bunch of people vying for our positions.
I just want to make one brief comment. As a member, I want to thank all of the board members for their commitment to the club, both in terms of their time and their financial contributions. Just know it's what makes this club great, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you.
I second.
Thank you for those words.
Thank you very much.
You know what they say, Robert, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, well, that one means you have to put up with another term of me telling these dumb jokes.
No, I don't
Oh,
think
we love
anybody's
it.
complaining.
I don't think you have to be on the board to tell your jokes.
The dumb ones, yeah.
Jim
That's-
McWilliams does that.
Isn't that your? Oh, wait a minute! Isn't that your seat on the board, director of bad humor?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I want to vie for that.
All right. Anybody else have any commentary or any questions before we jump in on the exhibition for the assignment? Okay, yeah, they had to be turned early because of Lynn being away and things being crazy for me. So Lynn was very helpful with getting the assignments in early, getting the gallery put together, and having everything scored. So she was the third judge and scored everything for her part when she entered it. So she's not here to give any commentary. Robert and I are, but when I say please, jump in and we value your thoughts and comments on this stuff. So our assignment was nighttime street photography, and I'm gonna share my screen and jump over. This is Lightroom Gallery on the web, not direct Lightroom Classic like we normally run, because the original images are in Lynn's Lightroom Classic and she's in Croatia. So let me get, there we go. All right, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so first entry for nighttime street photography is the New Testament in Bolivia. The score is 21.9, and this is from Barry. And My first comment is, it's not nighttime.
And yeah, it's in the middle of the day, and it's a little soft too as well.
Yes, it is. It almost looks like it was taken with something, like what a cell phone looks like when you have fingerprints or smudge on the
Yeah.
lens. Let me look at something here. A Nikon Coolpix 5570 camera. So it looks like that was a point and shoot.
Mm.
Might have had just the optics of that camera or something on the lens. I don't know. Is Barry here tonight?
I don't think he is.
Yeah, I didn't see him in the list a minute ago. Although we found out he likes to keep himself muted.
Yeah,
last night.
yeah.
So, yeah. So don't know the story behind this.
But it's definitely not night.
Definitely not nighttime. So that was it did lose some points for that, and it's an interesting shot,
Yeah.
but not.
Imagine if that was a sharp, like really sharp shot.
Mm-hmm.
That would be and exposed well.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a little overexposure here. Dynamic range is a little lacking here.
So, but this is also Barry's. So he did get the nighttime part right on this one. This is St. Patrick's Parade in Ybor City, also from Barry, and this one scored 22.7. And I recognize this. It's on the it's on the corner by the old studio.
Pull up the information on that one as well. I'm curious about this. Canon EOS M6 Mark II.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3200, 616, 1/60th of a second.
1/160th of a second. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Somehow I'm not feeling the engagement. I'm feeling more of a snapshotty type of feel rather than an engagement type of feel. And everything does not have to be an engagement, but when we're talking about nighttime street photography, this is not what I would have in mind.
It's more of an event.
That's the word I'm
However,
looking for.
there, at least, I felt like, a point in its favor with what you're talking about was the woman dead center in the frame is engaged.
Yes.
Is engaged with the camera right there. So that if she was not engaged with it, it would be, even, of even less value for what we're talking about. But that was a point in its favor that woman is engaged with the camera. But again, like you're saying, Robert, I felt it to be more of a documenting an event as opposed to what is normally considered street photography. And as far as the street photography goes, there's a lot of different subject matter that falls within the genre of street photography, but it especially works when you capture interesting people doing interesting things in street photography.
Right. And it becomes a bit more of about something that's saying about you and how you're engaging with your subject.
Mm-hmm.
Even if your subject's not looking at you, how you're engaging in order to capture something that talks about what's happening on the street, rather than and I don't mean to be detailed about this, but rather than the event. That's the word I was looking for. An event, a parade. It's a little different.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, then did you notice it's another example of the Curtis effect?
Yeah.
Hand on the, as a hand, or I'm not sure what that is.
For anybody that doesn't know what we call the Curtis effect, we lovingly coined that term after one of our members that used to always put in really great looking images that always had a foot or a hand or something stuck in the side of a frame somewhere. So when this happens, we just refer to that as the Curtis effect now here.
And one of the things about Curtis is that he shot a lot of period pieces, Civil War reenactments, and then somewhere in there would be a modern day thing somewhere in the corner of the photograph. It's like, and it would what's that called? An anachronism?
Yes, an anachronism.
Yeah, an anachronism. Yes.
Okay, this is late night shopping. Karen Robinson's image with a total score. Oh, and by the way, total score. Yeah, I was reading the right scores on the other one. Total score is 23.7 on this one.
Now, I wish I could just get in a little closer to this guy. I love his engagement with you, Karen, and your composition. I just want to be a little closer.
Across the street.
Hang on for a second. It's Lightroom on the web has decided it's going to be slow. There we go.
And come in a little bit from the right.
Yeah, I was just about to do that. Not as far as the street lamp, but
That's
probably right
correct.
about there.
Yes.
Not cutting into that window, but
That's
leaving a little frame around
Yes.
the window. And I don't even see the need for
I don't
that
need all
stuff
of
up
that.
there either.
Right about there. There we go.
I think there's the image.
Yes, and by getting rid of all of that, it makes it a bit more intimate. You got your guy, there's your star place, you have your sense of surrounding. It was shot at night. There's engagement, there are things going on, and the composition is like right now is stellar.
Yeah,
I think I might have left the banisters and the window on, just me personally, give it more sense of place.
Well, there's nothing, if there's a light or two on for me, and yes, Victoria, I do hear you. I do hear you. I'm not discounting what you're saying.
Mhm.
For me up top, I need a light or something happening up there. And what I have is just darkness.
just a couple dark windows above the awning. Yeah. But the as far as this part of the image, the exposure and the sharpness are wonderful. Technically the exposure, the focus, the sharpness of this looks fantastic. It's a great looking image.
Thank you. Kind of
And,
reminds me of an Edward Hopper painting.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Hello,
And,
can I make a comment?
by the way, Karen, your other print looks fabulous, and it's packaged up and in my truck to give to you tomorrow. It's already in the truck.
Fantastic. Okay, good.
It looks great at 16 by 20. That is I would I have the file. I might print another one and stick it on my own wall.
Hey, for $20, can I get one? Okay, there was a comment
Yeah,
somewhere.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you've ever mentioned it. I haven't been to several of the last of these image reviews, but I don't remember where, but I remember a judge saying if it doesn't add to the photo, it takes away from the photo. So if you're looking
Yeah.
at something like the top of the building or the right side that you cropped out and so on, if you look at it, it's around the periphery, and you say, why is that
Boy,
there?
this,
You can't come up with a good reason, just dump it.
Boy, everything just jumbled on here. Sorry to interrupt.
Must have been me.
The whole gallery just scrambled itself. Wonder if it's backwards now. Yes, yeah, the gallery just reversed the order of everything when I closed the develop panel on the Lightroom web.
Oh,
The
wow.
order of the images reversed themselves in the gallery. So
There's a sort order, maybe that got bumped.
yeah, so in any case, this is the next image. This is making an escape It's by Chris Maraghi, and the score is 23.3. So the it's an interesting subject. It's a little less, street photography is about documenting an art installation on the street. The exposure and the sharpness and the composition are well done. It's like I say, as far as capturing something occurring on the street, not so much. Like I say, it's documentation of an art installation is how I see this as far as subject matter.
Is Chris here? Chris is not here, is he? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
but not the one you want.
Yeah, and I'm saying the guy. I mean, this is Chris's shot, isn't it?
Chris Maraghi.
Right. That's right. That's what I'm saying. He's not here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I was wondering how is he going to define this as street photography?
Right. Okay. All right. Let's see if we're going in the right direction here. Yes. This is Summer Night Bike Ride, also by Chris Maraghi. Score on this one was 23.3. So this falls more in line with, okay, being street photography, capturing something happening on the street, people doing things. I wish we could have caught them head on as opposed to riding away.
Right. And I feel like this is one of those things where I put something up, it's at night, I shot it, and there it is. Rather than being engaging and capturing them coming the other way, as you mentioned, Jim.
Yeah, it does. Like I say, this one does fall in line, much more with the subject matter of night street photography versus the other one, which is like I say, documenting an art installation on the street. It could be cropped up from the bottom. We've got this thing going on in the corner. All of this down here isn't all necessary. Let's see, more like that I would go with.
Just note now it's going to reorder itself.
Maybe it'll go back to the correct order. Let's see what happens. And as soon as you close that, it jumps back to it won't go right back to this part, but that's fine. Okay, so next image. SNOG is the title of the image. It's from Susan Huckabee, and it's 23.5 is the score on this. So yeah, we got some people engaged in an activity here. The visual impact of that yogurt bus is great. The colors, the lighting, that's great. I wish somebody would have been turned around, walking away with yogurt in their hand, walking toward the camera or something like that, as opposed to the back of everybody in the back of everybody's head. The yogurt van itself is great, but there's no engagement from any of the people in this.
Well, the only engagement and unfortunately, you couldn't crop, and I really had to crop in were the ladies that were up here.
Second decker.
Yeah. But
It's also a really
I
nice
did this
shot.
I did this with my cell phone, so I couldn't do that.
It's a great looking exposure for a cell phone.
Let me at least mention one thing about when it comes to street photography. Street photography is letting things happen and creating a story with that, whatever's happening. Right now, it's more about the truck than it is, and you have people that are involved. I mean, happen to be there, rather than being about somebody who's getting something from this famous truck. Some sort of engagement there with this particular iconic place. What I'm saying is that sometimes you have to wait until and kind of force the shot, in a sense, where there is some engagement in order to make it more of a street street shot rather than just shooting a shot that's on the street.
A lot of
Am I making any sense to anybody?
Yeah, a lot of photographers that build themselves as being street photographers will do exactly that. They'll find something interesting like this, and then they'll just hang out and wait, and take shots and wait and take shots, and and wait for the story to happen once the good scene is found. It's like some of you people I have probably seen the my photo of the woman with the red scarf and the umbrella on the street in the rain with the red windows around her and everything. I shot that photo. I could dig it up later for during the break or whatever if anybody wants to see it. I found the location, which is kind of like this, raining in St. Augustine on the street, and I just knew or hoped something would happen. And I sat there getting drenched in the rain for 20 minutes before that woman walked into the shot and made the shot. But it was worth standing in the rain for 20 minutes and waiting for it to happen.
So, Susan, I'm just saying you have a great palette here. You have a great canvas here. We just need something to happen.
And Doris, I think you spent some time with Jay Maisel, right? And he expounds on the same thing. He does the same thing, doesn't he? He will find a spot like this and then stand and wait and watch what happens, and then eventually, hopefully, catch the right story with the right in the right scene.
Hey, Doris, could you unmute yourself for a second and just say something about what you learned in his workshop?
That's been a long time ago.
I'm not sure what I learned.
He told me that I included too much in my photos.
But
that's about what I learned.
But isn't yeah? But I've been around Jay many times at Photoshop World conventions and stuff, and I know that's one of the things that he expounds about street photography is find the compelling visual location and be patient and wait for the story to happen.
Now, I will. One of the reasons why I asked Doris to expound on that is because Doris came up one of our sessions with one of the most iconic shots that I've ever seen her do, and it was a basketball players on the street.
That was fantastic shot.
It was just out of this world. The shot that she made.
That shot is still pictured in my head.
Yes.
That was near Washington Square Park in New York.
Right. And you didn't just walk upon the thing and then it happened. I believe that you.
I stood there and waited for something.
Right. Exactly. That's my point. That's the point.
Oops. All right, this is Street Dancing at Captain. It's from Fong, and it's 23.1. So we got this dancing event happening in the street. It's interesting that it's kind of framed between these two people, these people back here being engaged in what's going on, and framed within two people on this side and some on this side. But these people are a little too close to frame edge, and it's kind of awkward the way this guy's arm is chopped off coming out of there.
Fong, I don't understand it. This is a great shot in the making. And I don't understand. Help me understand.
lose the hand. So
yeah, I don't understand how and why.
My husband was go home here, danger. So
he was worried.
Your husband that there is no danger when you got people singing and dancing.
And I see this was shot with the iPhone, and this is something people tend to do with their phones a lot, is hold them vertically, even when the composition calls for it to be held horizontally. And so many people are just in the habit of holding their phone up vertically. Had you rotated your phone horizontally, I think you would have nailed the shot.
Yeah, thank you. because downtown too many homeless. So my tour guide said, don't bring your camera. So that's
The homeless people are not trying to move in with you.
And just turn it sideways when it needs to be sideways.
no,
Yep.
sometimes robber use something. This happen.
I'll tell you, they're not after you and your camera.
Oh, if you use the camera, can do better.
This is this is more in line with street photography here. Interesting people engaged in doing something interesting, and some engagement with the photographer from one of the folks here. This does tell a story.
Yes.
You know, there is something interesting going on here in this with the people, that we can see the story and immediately get what's happening here. This is Relaxing with a Good Cigar from Jack, and the score is 24.
So Jack left me. I can't believe Jack left me.
No, he's here.
Jack,
Yeah.
I just want to know, how did you get this color palette of brown, and all these brown people?
Brown is beautiful.
I see in this case, the guy with the brown hat, the brown background, and then the statue there, that heavy accent of color,
Yeah.
the conversation, the cigar.
Well, it was well planned. That's all I can tell you, Robert. Well planned.
All right. I ain't mad at you.
And I've got a camera, I'll show you.
Yep.
It was
just well done. The exposure, the color palette through this, as Robert mentioned. Yep, it's it's great, balancing the exposure between all the dark stuff in the image and the guy in the white shirt. That was well done.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
This is Clubbing in Ybor from Kathy Thompson with a score of 24. And I really like in this image how you've got all this great green color everywhere, and yet the skin tones on the people that are your subject still rendered well in camera. And you get the story of everything that's going on with everybody here. You've got the engagement. You look at this, you immediately know the story. And again, the fact that we have the face of the one woman that becomes part of all this works very well.
I want to say something about Kathy. That night, I think I walked with you. Do you recall this, Kathy?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and I was actually impressed with your fearlessness of going into places and photographing people, just engaging with the environment, not necessarily disturbing or bothering people, but you actually went in and pointed that camera at folk, and as they went about doing what they were doing. So I was very impressed with that.
That's if you become serious about street photography, that really has to become part of your mentality too. You've got to have the backbone to be able to do that. You can't be shy if you really are, if you want to seriously take up street photography.
You know, it is funny because I am shy and basic nature, and put the camera in front of me and I don't feel that way. I feel like part of the environment.
Yeah, that's the same thing happens with some people with a car. You got this real meek person, and you put them behind the steering wheel, and then they're a holy terror on the road. Right?
That's me.
But put that camera in front of you. You've kind of got that shield between you and what's going on,
Yeah,
and you become a little more brave with your interactions.
And people love having their pictures taken. I don't know why, but they do. I don't, but
some people do.
Yeah.
I know musicians that are shy, and it's hard to get a word out of them, but you put the saxophone in their hand or the trumpet and they'll just wail away without any shyness at all. But
well, that becomes their voice.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep. And
I
like I said,
accept
this vivid, vibrant, green color going on throughout this, saturating throughout this image, but not overpowering the people was great.
Thank you. I worked on that one.
And here you go. This is a really nice piece of night street photography here. Definite strong engagement with someone going on, and some secondary story happening over here with what's going on. But this grabs you right here. That's classic right there.
JR,
This
Jerry,
is
just a quick comment. Isn't that really two images? The guy on the right cropped up to that Bentley or whatever that car is, and that
a
guy,
Rolls Royce.
yeah, and the guy hiding behind the pole. It's almost like, what is he up to with regard to that
Yep.
girl? To me, it isn't like he's hiding. To me, it almost seems like there's two. I don't know where to look. To me,
Yeah,
seems
it's almost like he, you could imagine in this that he knew the camera was there and ducked from,
Right.
ducked behind the pole from the camera. And by the way, this is titled "You Going to Make It" from Kathy Thompson, score of 24.4.
I wasn't sure he wasn't looking at me, and he was the last one in a long line of people that had already gotten on the bus. And
Mhm.
I've been looking at this picture and trying to figure out what he's trying to say.
You can tell that he's that he's engaged with somebody behind you or next to you.
Yeah.
That it's not about you. That
No, it's
there
not
that
about
there's some
me.
involvement there with somebody else, which which is great for the viewer looking at this to kind of make up their own story and wonder what's going on
Yeah.
here. There's a story here.
I didn't really know what to title it. I've been looking at it and trying to figure out what was this guy doing, and I was there.
But again, JR, if you put your hand over that guy facing Kathy and just have the guy, the left-hand side, the girl getting on the bus, that to me is its own picture. It's a little
Yeah.
Yes.
potentially sinister looking.
Yeah.
Whereas he's a happy-go-lucky guy.
Mhm.
To me, there's two separate pictures. You could cut this in two and have two entries.
Okay.
That's what I was pointing out
that's-
at first when I said there's a whole secondary story happening in this aside from the one that actually grabs you at first. Then there's a secondary story happening in here.
That's kind of scary.
What's
This-
scary?
Kathy, this also looks like an image that could have been shot in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does. Yes. Yeah, it has a timeless feel to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Here we go again. I closed the develop panel. Oh, hey, this time it came back to the image. So
Okay.
Lightroom on the web has a mind of its own.
Oh, the web we weave.
Okay, so if we're going in the right order, this next one is going to be Primping an Ebor from Karen Robinson with a score of 24.4. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, that's a good one.
Again, interesting people engaged in interesting activities, and this is a great example of exactly what the assignment was supposed to be tonight.
I will tell you that the shot of the on the cell phone looks as though it's a mirrored shot
Mhm.
is that's priceless. And the reaction from the person on the left,
Mm-hmm.
She's over it.
Karen, proper terms, they
I,
them.
I think it's a mirror shot because it's her own photograph.
Oh,
putting on her makeup.
she's using the
Yeah.
selfie camera to
Yeah.
As
to
a
apply her
mirror.
makeup.
Right, right,
her black lipstick.
right.
That is Karen. I just wanted to know, how did you see that?
That was right outside the pizza place.
That's
Yep,
not the
that's
point.
New
That's
York-
not
New
what I'm
York pizza.
saying.
Oh, actually they posed for me too. After this, they turned around and smiled, but I didn't like that one. But I saw the one person in the mirror and I was like, oh yeah. And the other person's face is just like boredom,
Mm-hmm. Yep. This was great. This was, yeah, like I said, this is what it's about as far as this assignment. You nailed it. Okay, next one is Keeping Watch from Sylvia Fernandez with a score of 24.1. Yeah. So yeah, she's watching for something. I get that.
I didn't find this one to be as strong though, Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
I found it a bit static, even though it is, again, it's composed well, cropped well, and such. I just needed something more to come from this.
Yeah, I don't totally, oops.
I'm going to try something here.
Yeah, I'm cropping it in further. I know. I went back and forth.
I'm going to try something here.
Wow. I didn't, yeah,
I think that's a lot stronger.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just thought it was very interesting how the three girls were totally engaged, and this gal, I don't know if she just happened to glance that way or if she was looking for someone or something, but I found it sort of interesting.
And I feel the crop does a lot for this.
It does.
Yeah, it
I would have never thought to crop it that tight, but I wish I had. It really does.
What Dominique said it. Dominique said it earlier. If it don't fit, crop it until it works.
Yeah.
Because there was just something that just wasn't quite there for me. And I don't know if it was the stuff that's happening in the foreground. I didn't see a reason for that. But
I'm going to
Jim made it happen.
Yeah.
Robert, I'm going to say something. It has nothing, I'm not blowing smoke for myself, but I have a good friend. He's been a photographer since the old Kodak days. He was one of their people who tested their new types of film when they came out and whatever. And I took a picture in Denver a couple of years ago, and it was one of the first pictures I put in our display. It was the one of the various parts of the library building in Denver. And I had people in it and whatever. And he looked at it and he called me up because your picture is in the top quarter. And I cropped it, and he said everything else in the picture doesn't add anything. And he's one of the people who said if it doesn't add anything, it's detracting. And I cropped it that way, 1/4 of the picture, and I've gotten more accolades and so on with that picture than anything else I've ever photographed. I wouldn't have cropped it that way, and it never would have worked out for me. So that's when I learned crop until you like it.
And now you can also recognize that there can be more than one shot in a shot.
Yep.
That is true. Okay, next up, this is Wheel Throwing from Jack Maniscalco, 24.2. So did you actually step inside, Jack, or was this through a window, or?
No, I was right inside there.
And
the girl on the left there was not I don't know if she was pleased or unpleased with my being there, but I was standing right in front of them, snapping away. Yeah.
You know what's interesting about this sort of thing is that the people are if you can walk into an establishment, you can expect to be photographed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, especially at Ybor.
Yeah.
I want to look at a photo within a photo here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just wanted to see that. I just wanted to see it is all. I'm not making any commentary. I was just looking at this image, and we were talking about, image within an image, and I wanted to see that.
There's no question. There are several places that one could focus. This is one of them, and then of course the girl looking at me was the other one.
It looks like he's working the wheel with his mouth.
Yeah, there's some very intense. I love the intense concentration of these two people.
And
this-
she's
in
gonna
this
bite
scene.
her
They're
tongue
both
off.
very engaged in what they're doing.
Yeah.
She's gonna lose the tip of her tongue.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see where we go. Yep. Back to let me get to where we need to be. Okay, here we go. Looks good enough to eat from Lee Brand, score 24.3. I love the synchronization in this. You were going to say something, Robert?
No, I was going to say that this one isn't as engaging to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are about to engage in this eating contest, but I want something more to go on here. Go back one frame back to Jack's image. One of the things that's engaging about this one more to me is if you start from the right hand side as your subject on the right that's looking toward the left, you go to the left. Now I would say on the person on the end, I would take that person out.
Yeah.
That because they're not doing anything for me.
I could do this.
Yes.
And I could even do this, you know, with this image.
But I have things that are going on in each of the participant under the subject matter here. There's something that's carrying me. Now go forward.
Yeah, stand by for Lightroom on the web to do its thing. There we go.
And what I have here are this one action. And this action for me is not engaging enough.
Mm-hmm.
So great image, great exposure. Composition is really, really nice. I'm just looking for something more to happen.
It's like they're in love with their pizza.
Any other comments out there? Anybody?
Be nice if they had looked up at, looked at the photographer.
Or look left or right, or
looked at each other.
Yes, at each other.
Couldn't you keep a sense of where you are and tone down that background a little bit to make them even pop even a little bit more? You know, just bring that whole background down about 25-30% in terms of brightness.
You could, however, it still doesn't change the shot.
No, yeah, I know, but I'm just
What if they were taking a bite?
What if they were taking a bite and laughing at each other?
What if taking a bite of the pizza? Taking a bite of the pizza.
That's what I'm saying. They're taking a bite of the pizza, but they're laughing at each other. They're engaging.
That would be their first bite, which is probably going to be really hot. So they're going to have that expression of their mouth being burned.
Not if they don't have that new hot sauce that they just came out with.
Can I ask a question about
Sure.
This was taken through a window?
Yes,
and
it was.
And I can see glare. Is
Yes,
that a
right here.
problem?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we know it's through glass. The other reflections aren't so bad. This is the only one that I find, actually distracting.
The removal
Can
tool.
you do anything
Photoshop
about
will get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
Removal tool will get rid of that.
Yeah, that could be fixed. That's the only one I find distracting is in his eye, right there.
But generally, you don't want glare like that in a picture.
Well, the reason why I said it's not a problem. Jim said it is a problem, but he was referring to that very specific.
Just this one. I don't have any problem with the rest of it because that does impart that it is shot through a window.
Okay.
And whatnot. That's the only, the other stuff over here. Yeah, I'm no problem with the other reflections in the glass at all.
Okay.
This is one probably if you stood there and waited it, like you were talking about earlier.
If this had been even on like continuous, not continuous high, but continuous low, there might have been somewhere in a sequence, as they get it up to their mouth, take a bite, pull the pizza away, get that, maybe get some melted
Yeah.
cheese stretched
Right,
out on the pizza,
right.
something. This is one of those cases where, even if you don't have your drive set on continuous, just keep pushing the button, just keep clicking the button.
Because there is something about to happen.
Digital film
here.
is cheap.
Yeah. It's the beginning of the story. It's not the apex of the story.
This is along 7th Avenue. This is from Lynn, and I've got to enter her. It's a score for 0, so this has got to be.
Based on the
total
subject,
total score is 24 on this one.
and based on the subject, 42 and a half.
What?
You're such a man.
I couldn't help it.
Oh.
Such a man. Is this, help me to understand, is this tilted downward?
It has an odd cant to it. I agree with that. It really does feel like she's going downhill on 7th Avenue, which is flat as a board.
Right.
There's I felt that too. It's, it feels almost a little awkward that, it feels like she's going downhill. I also felt that in this case, that's kind of the story right there. And but it's so overpowered by all this background that,
It doesn't look crooked to me.
yeah, that, and just for the sake of
better. There you go.
Yeah.
that feels better.
Oh, a
Yeah.
lot better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm much more engaged in this story now that it's not such a small percentage of the overall frame.
A little cappuccino, a little food and drink, some live music, and try something. Gasparilla, all of those signs now, and the subject is perfectly placed between all of that.
Yeah, between the signs.
Yes. Yeah, that part was well done. This is Playing in the Window. It's from Lee Brand with a score of 23.5. I feel this one's a little static.
Very static.
There's a microphone there. It would at least have a little bit more interest, had he been leaned up to the microphone, obviously singing. He's just kind of looking down at the floor then playing it. It's, again, this is a case of, have some patience, wait for the moment and take the shot. Don't just, walk up on a scene, take the shot, and then wait and see what happens. This is a case where it looks like, okay, walked up, saw a guy in a window, clicked the button, and then walked somewhere else.
Yeah. I don't also have a sense of environment either.
Mm-hmm. And there he is again.
Mm-hmm.
This is open air Western music.
And whose shot is this?
I can't zoom in on it. This looks really soft.
Yes. Whose shot?
I'm sorry. This is
Lynn.
This is from Lynn. So I have to add in her other value here.
This is
Okay,
not.
so it's
This is not.
so her total score is a 23.4 on this, but this is out of focus.
Yeah.
And I don't have the original to go to because it didn't go through email because she put it in straight from her computer. So I have no original. I can't zoom in on it, but I can look at these lights, up here
Right.
like this one. I can look at these people's faces. Everything's soft and out of focus here. By the time it gets to the guy in the window, he almost looks like plastic. Back here, this is. I was surprised just now to read that this was from Lynn.
Wow.
Like a,
Mhm.
is this
Okay.
the Doris
All right,
effect?
so it's shot at f1.8, so it's got a shallow depth of field. So, but I don't know what part of it was in focus at f1.8, or because the shutter speed's fast enough that there shouldn't be a motion blur in it.
Too many things going on in there too.
Yeah, this one was kind of walking in from the edge of the frame, almost cut off on the. I don't think being on the edge of the frame like that helps, because when you go look at her, it pulls you out of the frame.
Correct.
To the left. So. Yeah, if you want to keep with the title, you got to leave the performer in it if you're going to go with the title of open air Western music. But anywhere in this, I'm still not seeing anything.
I like that better.
Really engaging. That in it, I'm looking at that as probably the best, the most interest in this. It breaks the title, but I find that a little more interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Saturday Night Fever. This is from Lourdes with a score of 24.3. And I understand with the title why the mirror ball was kept in with, to work with that title. It gives you a little more, sense of, the disco, but I still think there's your story.
Yeah.
Lourdes, were you dancing when you made this image?
Not really.
I love the fact that everybody in this, they're doing something, having fun, and yet they acknowledged you with the camera.
They were posing for me. That was so much fun.
Yes. Yeah, they were definitely posing for you.
Yep. And there's your image and your story. As far as me personally, what I feel about it, I don't think it needs the disco ball in the ceiling in it, which just diminishes everybody in the shot overall when you include the sidewalk.
Yeah,
and all that up there. They become so, your story becomes very diminished within the background.
Got it.
I think we all needed to focus less on the street part of the street photography and more on the people. It seems like we all went too much street in.
People at night.
About street people photography.
Now here's obviously something fun going on here. Let's get into the panel here. We still don't need all this. Heck, I don't even know that we need the bottom of that. Bring it down a little bit.
It's really soft there, and it's kind of back focus.
Yeah, the focus is on the, as far as the point of focus, technically where the lens focused is on this guy back here, which left the actual story out of focus, because you're exactly right, Robert. It's, see, you see how sharp and focused this sign is and everything. The camera grabbed focus back here and not on what's actually happening. That's the story.
Whose shot is this?
This is this is telling tall tales by Lourdes with a score of 24.2.
All right, yeah, Lourdes, you got something going on. However, I need you to focus on your subject. Your subject. So I want you, and this is a reprimand directly to you. Now that you're well, I wouldn't have said it while you're not well, is that when you're doing this sort of thing, do not, and I repeat, do not get involved in the engagement of what's happening in front of you, because there are too many technical things that has to take place in order to make this thing work.
Yeah, the only thing is that those things last a second. And I
Yes,
was so
that's
focused like on getting the shot.
That's exactly what I mean by concentrating on the camera.
Yeah, and like I say, something happens so fast, and and sometimes if you missed it, you missed it. The story is there. You caught the story in the frame, but technically it got missed. So it's still, it's not a keeper because the camera missed focus. I don't know where your focus point was selected. I was looking to see if it was like, dead center in the middle, but obviously the focus point was off of dead center and caught something in the background.
Yeah.
So I have a question about Jim. Up till this camera, I always use single point focus, and I decided what I want on. And reading the manual for my new camera, they recommended using multi-focus. So I've been trying that, and I've been surprised with some of the leaps where it'll give you like 4 or 5 little squares where it's focusing, and sometimes it'll focus on a tree in the foreground and a mountain in the background for the same shot. How does that work?
I'd have to actually see it. It's that for landscapes like you shoot, I wouldn't recommend that, but that's exactly the method I would use for something like this, because that in that case it would have grabbed onto the people in the foreground and caught them, as opposed to here it looks like a single point was used that caught the background. But if it was multi-point focus, it definitely would have grabbed somewhere within this group of people in the front. So for something like street photography, action happening, something happening in a split second like that, that's probably a better option to choose from in the focus choices versus single point, where as Laura says, the action happens in a split second, and you don't have time to get your thumb on the joystick or the D-pad and move your focus point where it needs to be. So good point, Brian.
So what the manual said was use multi-point for most situation. So I don't know what the other non-most things are, but
yeah, I wouldn't. There are occasions when I do use it, but for landscape, no. I want to be very precise, and the landscape isn't changing on you in a split second. I will use single point and be precise about what I'm doing in a landscape. But in other cases like this, multi-point can be great. That's what I used to shoot roller derby, and that's what I used for roller derby all the time, was a multi-point.
In a close group like this, where they're all situated right next to each other, and you've got a reasonably decent f-stop, wouldn't eye focus be even more functional or desirable?
Face and eye focus, the only thing is with face and eye focus in a crowd where people are at different depths, it may grab a face that's in the background.
I'm saying, but you would have the option of getting the camera to the point where it's going to find her. If it moves, I don't shoot it, so I'm not an expert on it, but I would think you could get her eye. I don't know.
Oh, well,
and like I say, and that's possible. At face eye focus, when there's multiple faces and eyes in it, you don't know necessarily which one is going to grab. Now I know this particular camera, what it will actually do if you have it on face focus and it has a crowd like this, it will actually, in a crowd, it will put a box on multiple faces, and the most selected box is the one that it will say is where it starts at, which it will try and detect what is the closest person, but it will give boxes on all the faces, and then you can actually on the camera use the D-pad and switch it from basically from face to face to face. However, in the heat of the moment in street photography, that's not a great thing. But if you're shooting, groups and events and, weddings and receptions and things like that, that might be an option for you. In here, yes, it may have found several faces and locked on hers as the front face, and then no more intervention would have been necessary.
Just to show you what I know.
Mm-hmm. It could have worked in this. Yeah, the multi-point focus would have been more of a choice, more of the proper choice for this case, in my opinion. This is Night Ride from Jim McWilliam with a score of 23.6. And remember, in assignment, all the scores have 1 bonus point added on for being an assigned image.
Now, I want to tell that we also have a pull focus point on the same thing happening here as well.
Exactly.
Same thing.
It's the pizza sign is in great focus, and the bike and the riders are out of focus. The car back here is decently in focus. Same thing. Camera nailed focus on the background and not the subject.
Now, just imagine.
I wish this had been sharp, because I love the expression on her face, and that she's having so much fun, riding up the street on the back of the motorcycle.
I don't mean to sound orgasmic, Jim, but you're right. Oh, wait a minute. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
I would point out that the pizza sign and the red car are both stopped, and the motorcycle is going about 25 miles an hour.
But the yellow lines and the white lines and the texture of the street are not moving, and they're soft.
Yeah, they were.
Nice try, Jim.
Took a shot. No.
Now.
The street wasn't moving.
No, at least I don't think it was at that time.
Mm-hmm.
They were on that night.
That's just such a great moment, but it's missed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was the night before it was due, so my back was up against it.
That's when you yelled out and tell the guy to go around the block again and do it all over again.
I get it. I'll write that down.
Mm-hmm. And then get his email and send him a copy.
Okay.
I've done that on the street a few times in the past. Tell people, hey, could I get your shot, and I'll send you a copy. This is Beach Bar, another one from Jim McWilliam with a score of 23.7. It's a nice night shot of the restaurant, but as we've been talking about with some of the images earlier tonight, there's not really an engaging story happening here.
Well, there is a backstory. If you look in the back corner, it's a time machine. My brother and I were sitting at an empty table at the back corner and didn't get waited on for 20 minutes, so we left. I took this picture.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
Oh my goodness. Whose shot is this?
This is dishwashers from Richard Edwards with a score of 25.
Richard, talk to me.
I think that's actually the highest score in the assigned category tonight was for this shot, score of 25. That's the high score in the assignments tonight.
Richard, talk to me.
I'm in Blairsville, and there isn't much happening at night. I wandered the streets, and I saw absolutely nothing, but I did look through the window there, and I saw two dishwashers, these two ladies, working inside. And I said, you know what? Could I ask you to take a little break here and come out? And I want to take a picture of you. And they saw me with a fancy camera breaking their routine, and they thought that was wonderful. And I shot about a dozen pictures. I thought the best one would be of them talking to each other. But this turned out with her hand on her leg like that, and the towels in the back pockets, and the light. The light was kind of perfect. And I didn't know what you guys would say about the window. I wanted the window to show where they work inside. I did bring the exposure down on it, and but I thought the light on the faces and they were thrilled.
The window balances this composition. The window is fine. It balances the composition, and in this case, the window does add to the sense of place of what's going on while balancing it.
Oh my goodness!
Yep, well done,
Richard.
I see everything in black. I'm sorry,
Richard. I just want to say this one thing before Dominic says what he says. I marked this in my brain. All right, just understand you will be judged from this point forward.
You've set a bar for yourself.
Okay.
I was going to say I see everything in black and white. Can
That's
you
what
that?
Dominic did that too. The first night he showed up with setting the bar with his black and white images.
He did.
I would be curious to see this in black and white converted, even just if it's in Lightroom. I think if that was played with, I don't. It's just maybe it's me. I just see everything this way.
Yeah, this is just if this were tweaked in black and white as opposed to just Lightroom doing a flat conversion like this, this would work very well in black and white as well. This one works equally as well in black and white and color. I agree with you.
Yeah, there's no color inside. You could tweak them, select them, and bring them up a little bit, and darken the right side a little bit more. And the story is definitely, there's no color to take away from anything. That's a dramatic shot. I like that.
Yep.
But like I like to say, what do I know?
No, you're exactly right. I'm glad that this is why we want engagement from you guys. Yes, tell us what you think and what you want to see with these images, because I agree this would be a powerful black and white as well. You're absolutely right. Thanks for asking to see it that way.
No problem.
Just if you don't mind, another suggestion, and not that it's any better, but if I were taking pictures of them and they were cooperating and letting me, I'd take one with them with a serious look on their face, like they're tired. And I think that would add a lot of character to the picture as well, having them tired out with a serious look. They look like they're having too much fun. And it's a great picture, nothing wrong with that. But I would try also another one with the opposite look on their face.
Yep. Yeah. And one thing that, just the emotional aspect of pictures, yes, you can become engaged with the different emotions and stuff. But when people smile at you, it makes you smile. And that's a good thing too.
I just look that stance in the the person on the left-hand side, and it's so powerful. And for you to tell me that these are dishwashers, wow. There's a bit of pride about both of them.
Exactly. That's the right word, Robert. You that's exactly the right word that describes.
I think they were flattered. They were quite flattered that I asked to take their picture, and it kind of shows that.
Yeah, pride is an excellent word to describe what I see in them, Robert.
Did you drop off a shot to them since then?
No, I will though.
You will. You be better.
They would love that.
This is Night Cycle, also from Richard Edwards with a score of 24.2. In this one, I like the sense of motion that's happening here. The motion blur with the panning, imparts the feel of the action and the speed with this.
Yeah, it was good. It was a Harley Davidson, so I could hear it coming from about a minute away, and I got in position, and I could be there for this shot. Yeah.
Panning shots are so much fun, especially when when you get a good one. They're hard to do, but they're fun.
Well, Richard, Jim McWilliams, he rode one of those Hondas, and they were very quiet, so you wouldn't have seen him coming
or heard him coming.
Wouldn't have heard him coming.
I was going to say it can't be a Harley; it's running.
Right. Brian, you had something to say.
No, Richard just had him put his feet up for a minute and pan to the camera, and then Photoshop the kickstand out.
What are the settings on this one?
So I love photo.
How is it done? Is that your question, Brian? You cut out.
We're losing your audio, Brian.
No. Okay.
Yeah, we've lost your audio, Brian.
Good.
Did I hear? Was it Karen had a question?
Yeah, I asked what the settings were on this one.
Oh.
Can you read them? I'm not sure.
I don't think
nope. The metadata's been stripped from this one, so we don't know.
Okay.
I'm guessing. It was a Nikon Z8. Was shot with a 50 millimeter 1.8 lens, and I probably maybe a half a second or less exposure, and I panned with it, knowing it would blur the background. Tried to stay at the same speed that the motorcycle was going at.
Thanks. It's a nice shot.
Okay, next up we have On an Austrian Street from Valerie Kay with a score of 23.9. And it's a nice shot of buildings in the street. But yeah, again, there's not really any engagement. Like I said, it's a nice shot showing the buildings, and what the street looks like in the buildings. There's no real story happening here. There's some guys down here, but they're kind of lost in the dark and small in the overall frame. I would have really liked to have seen a shot that would have been with these bicycles and the car and just that part of it, and seen maybe what was going on down here and what story might have developed with these characters down here in the doorway.
Valerie, where was this shot?
Austria.
Austria, okay. All right, that's 1 second.
No.
Are you watching your thing? I need to get my drink on. I'm losing my voice. Yeah, okay. Now, Valerie, tell me what you wanted me to know about this night scene.
Well, I really don't know. It's the only one that I took out of any of the pictures that I took at night.
Okay.
Now, I'm kind of laid up right now, so I can't get out there and take any shots. So
okay.
Yeah.
Valerie, would you do me one favor?
Sure.
When you're no longer laid up, can you do another night shot for me?
I could try, yeah. It's gonna be a while.
Okay, whenever you get it done, could you please?
Okay.
All right, please, thank you.
Does she have to go back to Austria?
No.
President's address. Sure.
Okay. This is from Thomas Hickey. This is Live, Love, Laugh, Comply. Score of 23.8.
Israel. He jumps back again.
Got audio from somebody
Praying, and he did Israel.
there. I don't know whose audio. I think it's Chris.
But he did a pretty good job.
I like the
Yeah.
title.
Yeah, let me see if I can get my Zoom panel up and mute his microphone.
He's back.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is Thomas here?
I didn't see Thomas online here.
He's working.
Is that a spokesman for Thomas?
It's Diana.
Oh, Diana, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not as good. Well, I used that one earlier. I'm okay. Okay, Diana, tell me about this photograph.
Oh, I can't do that. If you want to wait a second, I can text him to tell him to tell me what to say.
Well, I mean, I want not from the fact that you had anything to do with it. I want you to critique this photograph.
Now I'm on the spot. I didn't know I was volunteering to be on the spot.
Yeah, well, you know, anything can happen when you're around here.
Yeah, my mistake. I like that the foreground lights are blurry, but the subject, like the information, is crisper in the back. I like that the black and white runs the gamut of bright for the spots in the foreground to much darker, and that the woman in the subject is only silhouetted with these like giant male figures above, and in like very much contained in that upper quarter. I feel like it goes along with the title very well. I also like that the lights get like I can tell that they're lights, but at first glance it looks more like a barricade of wire, which I think also goes along with the title.
I also myself, I feel there's a kind of a powerful statement being made within the context of this, you know, as you mentioned, with the scale of the two men higher up above, you know, and then the woman, you know, down here diminished and in the corner. This could very well be be taken as a cultural statement.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't mind the cultural statement, but it does not, in what I'm seeing, gives me a street photography feel.
Really? It does to me. It doesn't give me a night street photography feel. I think that's just because of the black and white.
Well, the cultural aspect of it, the political statement, yes, 300%. I'm with you. But the person at the bottom, who is my human figure, is lost between these blinds. So I'm not quite sure if that person's on a cell phone or not.
I'm pretty sure she's on a cell phone.
Yeah, she's on a cell phone.
And what that does, it takes away from the actual story that's being implemented by these two giant figures. It's almost like that person is disengaged from it.
Isn't that also part of the story?
I read that into, you know, in my own mind, I read that in as part of the story that I'm getting from it.
I'm just getting a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's and different people see different things. That's part of art.
But what I do think is a stronger statement is as Jim, as you did, take away that left-hand side.
Yes, that I didn't feel was
and Diana, thank you very much for your commentary.
Doing anything with the image there.
Yeah, that doesn't. And now that compositionally is much stronger in its statement.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't do so badly, Diana.
Thanks. I'm really good at being put on the spot.
I'm going to ask her to present my work next month.
Are you hiring out?
That's great. Yeah, outsource it.
Yeah, boy, you never know the type of talent that you have here in this club until you put them on the spot.
Okay, and this is also from Tom Hickey. This is titled Before the Disaster, and its score is 24.1. I have to say in this case that the title leads me to some confusion because I don't know what the reference is to a disaster.
This is a photo of Beirut, and that big building in the bottom right-hand corner, that's the grain silo that exploded and leveled Beirut in 2019.
However, there's no context in this image for
Fair enough.
people to know that.
Fair enough. He also didn't tell me that. I just happen to know that that's where that is. But I still agree.
Okay. Well, now I do understand because of hearing the story behind the title, but the title in the image just left me with a question.
Yeah.
So this is okay. Yeah. Happy times and celebrations before something terrible happened here. That's the context of what we're to get from this, I'm imagining now.
Yeah, I also get a little bit of just the fact that like that building in the bottom, it blew up. So having the like celebratory explosions in front of it is also some scary.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I kind of understand, what it's about now, but the image itself doesn't, not having the background information already in my mind as a viewer, I have no understanding of what it's about without getting the background story told to me.
Yeah, that's a photo that could be perhaps in a montage of photos about an event that happened. But I agree, there's nothing in that photo that tells me that it's Beirut because I haven't been there and I'm not familiar with the architecture and but I don't think it really tells you where you are or what happened. Just
you had a before picture and after picture.
I wouldn't I wouldn't know from looking at this that that this wasn't New Jersey or.
And what about this says the streets? I'm curious for that answer.
It's a night photo, but not a street photo. Whereas we started out in this with a photo in the street that wasn't at night. Now we ended with a photo at night that's not in the street.
Right.
Between the two of them.
Average everything out and we're good.
Right, exactly.
So and not for scores or anything, just we had the event where we went out in Ybor City, and with everything going on with me, I actually got there, I think, for like the last 30 minutes of it and spent most of the time walking on the streets and socializing with people. But I did decide while I was out there to put a 56 F12 on it and lock it in at F12 and just take a couple shots. And I ended up taking 4 shots in total because I was with people. But I threw in 2 of the 4 shots just to share them because I was out with people and did it. So this one was Knight Rider. Well, that one. So I said I was working at F1.2 and just wanting to exercise myself at F1.2. And ended up with and the last shot I took of the night walking away was
my goodness.
was just some craziness happening on the street.
That's the end, all right.
That's the end. The end. Yeah.
My goodness.
So we'll jump over to general after we'll have a 5-minute break. How's that sound?
Sounds
Okey-doke.
wow.
I need something to drink. Let me get some water. Oh, it's so quiet in here all of a sudden.
Yes. You know, if Lynn was here, there'd be a whole bunch of conversation just because.
So we've got 16 in general to go through.
Jim, did any of those street shots have a strobe used in them that you could tell?
Not that I could tell. No, I didn't see that anybody was out emulating Ouija.
Hi,
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask a quick question about the video classes. Are you talking? I'm interested, but I'm interested using my cell phone. So is that not what you're doing, or?
Oh no, that's fine. Yep, and yeah, the modern cell phones right now are quite capable video tools.
Okay.
I even I use footage from my own cell phone for some of my projects. You know, it's pretty good for what it is for a cell phone. My cell phone actually does 8K video, which is kind of crazy. So I do use some clips from my phone for some of my projects, because in some cases it's it's the handy video camera that I've got to grab something that I want.
Well, for me, it would certainly be that, because, well,
Yeah, no, there's nothing.
not
Nope.
even sure my camera. shoots video.
Nothing wrong for if you want to be creative, and that's your tool to be creative with. Absolutely, because the concepts, the concepts of what you want to do with video are the concepts. Your phone is just an alternate tool to record the video with, versus a camera.
Great, thanks.
Going back to Chris, you asked about flash or strobe. What was the reason behind that question?
Well, the exposures on some of so much of it were really, really good, and obviously we can use a high ISO to do that. But I was, for being taken in the dark, there was seemed to be a lot of light on some of the things. And I'm not. This is not a critique. I'm just curious.
It's an observation.
There you go. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm getting old. I can't remember.
Yeah, no, yeah, there were some great exposures for nighttime work. I absolutely agree with you, Chris.
Well,
I think that's a testament to some of the modern sensors and modern lenses that we're out there working with now.
By the way, Robert, you walked away and left your.
I noticed that when I got halfway home, and I went, "Oh my goodness!" And I looked over on my passenger side and said, "I now do not have dinner."
Looks like Valerie was having dinner with her cat.
Yeah, we were out at lunch today at Outback. Miss you, Doris. And yeah, we were out at Outback today, and I got this shrimp, whatever this thing is, appetizer, and it had a billion shrimp on it. I was very pleased at at the taste of it. And I told everybody at the table, hey, you should get this next time. And then I got a to-go box and walked out with leaving more than half of the shrimp on the table.
Yeah.
And Chris did
Robert,
not
is that
call
a
me.
virtual?
You were long gone before then. Before I left, I sat around there for quite a while with Dick. And as we got up, we noticed.
I was so mad.
Maybe Jim was there too.
I was so mad.
Yeah, I imagine.
Brian had something to say. What did you say, Brian?
Is that a virtual background or is that really where you are?
Are you talking about me and you? And right now you're showing a sign of jealousy? Is that what it is? You mean that I am a little bit more important than Jim to you right now?
I'm just asking about what's behind you.
And I'm ribbing you because I have the chance to do so.
Okay.
And there's still no answer to the question.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Yes.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, we'll get started in a minute. It looks like a couple people still need to come back, but
Hey,
so we'll give it another minute or two.
Jim, do you still have that photo of the waterfall that you showed me? I wanted Susan to see it. If you can, if it won't take but a minute. Susan, this waterfall photo is the one right down the street from this condo where we're going to stay in Sky Valley.
Oh, good. Now we'll know what to do, huh?
Yeah, I told him, said, well, that's going to be a hard act to follow. When you see this image.
Hang on for just a second. I was launching something in the background. Okay. All right. Yeah, I've got it. It's still up on the screen here. Let me get to Zoom. There you go.
Ooh.
Can you see it?
Yes. Very nice.
Not pretty. Ooh. Mud Creek.
Take your waders and your boots.
I was thinking the same thing, Robert.
Yeah. Be worth it.
Give me just a second here. I'm doing something in the background, and I see. Looks like we got. I think we might have everybody back now.
Garrett, I think your hair color should be purple next time.
Real quick.
Garrett left the scene when he heard that I said his hair should be purple. And he's back.
So
All right,
what
give
is
me
that
just a
behind
second
you?
because I'm doing something here now.
Brian.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
When I go into home, sometimes I photograph the place, so I make it a backdrop.
Oh, okay.
So that's what's happening.
It looks.
All right, here we go. All right, you got the screen up?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We're in general. This is from Diana Cahill. This is New Hampshire Autumn Sunrise with a score of 23.6. Now, remember, these scores do not have the +1 modifier for being an assigned image. So this is And I have an alternate take on this. I'm gonna show after anybody else wants to discuss anything about the image as we see it.
It's very good except for the sky.
For the sky, is that what you said, Brian?
I'd like to see a little bit, and we can do sky replacements. If this
Right,
is mine,
right.
I would
Okay, good.
try.
Good. I
And
thought you said
you're,
that.
You're leading right into what I was going to discuss about this. This is a gorgeous
Correct.
image. That bright sky is, it really takes you up out of there. Now, I looked at this cropped down out of the sky, and it just took too much of the trees away doing that, cropping that white sky out. Didn't like that. Now, if this were a documentary shot, if this were being done for, like the Chamber of Commerce, or for for a Visit New Hampshire, brochure or something like that, you wouldn't be able to do this. But alternate take on it in this case was just done with generative fill, and I just added more trees into the sky rather than cropping the sky away, because cropping the sky down didn't look quite right. I'll let you see that. Wrong screen. We want there.
Did you crop it down in the other one to chop the boat out?
No, all I did was use generative fill to put trees in up there. Cool. And I'll show you the versus a crop. Now that we got this up here.
Yeah, it like closes it in too far.
That takes too much of the trees away. Versus that, and see, the boat is left in. The boat was up. I just simply added more trees in it rather than crop the sky out.
Can you show us how you did that, Jim?
I just selected the sky in Photoshop and hit the generative fill button.
Good, thank you.
I just did select sky, generative fill.
Right, thank you.
It was basically 2 clicks.
How about that brown building on the side? Couldn't you do a horizontal filter, or a camera? What do they call it again in Photoshop? What is that filter again? The camera correction filter, and do a horizontal adjustment so the picture is turned to your left, and maybe get rid of that building or some of it on the left using the generative fill, whatever. So you've got a straight on shot just of those buildings. Because to me, they're the picture, just the fact the uniformity, there's just something about them. That brown building, in my opinion, takes away from the shot. But like I say, what do I know?
I think then the foreground might seem a little empty.
I agree. We need to take a bunch of the water out if that weren't there, because then there would be too much water. In this image, I personally feel it's a good lead-in foreground element, and the angle of the building leads you diagonally right to the rest of the frame because of that angle of the building. For me, that works well in the composition.
My interest falls on those buildings. Again, everybody's got a different opinion, but my interest is in those buildings in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel, for me, this is a good foreground element that leads me to that. In this case, it does not distract me from them. Now, if this were like a white building, that would definitely be a problem if it were white. But the fact that it is dark and muted and doesn't jump out from everything else around it, it does just give me a foreground element that takes me back here. And that's me. That's my opinion. That's not a right or wrong, thing.
I agree with you.
The chimney and the tree coming out of the chimney on the brown building bothers me.
Yeah.
Way to eliminate that.
Yeah,
there
you can use generative fill and
Yeah.
or the remove tool and make that go away. You absolutely could do that. I wouldn't argue about doing that at all.
Now, I will say this on my end of it. You see those signs and placards?
Mm-hmm.
Those will go away. And in this, the red and white signs, there are 3 of them that will go away.
Oh, the reflection.
No, they on the side of the brown building, left-hand side, there's
Oh,
a
okay. I
small
see
one,
it. I see it.
and then on the right-hand side, lower right-hand side of the building, and then you go across the water on the tan and white building, that would go away as well.
And the reflection.
And the reflection, yes, the reflection out of it as well.
Yeah.
What about that white boat on the right?
No, that stays.
That stays. I agree with that.
Yes.
I'm just curious, does anybody think straightening that image out so that those buildings look like they were shot straight on and getting rid of that building on the left and maybe using some generative fill and making the water extend to the left?
Well, if you look at that, if you look at the buildings, some of the buildings are actually facing toward the left, and some are facing directly on, and some
are facing to the right.
To the right.
The buildings are facing, in every variable direction.
Which I'm not picking up. So there you go.
See, this building back here is facing to the right. This building back here is facing to the right. This building is facing straight onto the camera. This building is almost straight onto the camera. This one are left. These in the foreground are left, but these in the background are varying in their orientation.
Must be a cheap neighborhood.
Yeah.
All right.
To me, that brown boathouse, the brown boathouse is an extremely important part of this photo. I would definitely not like it nearly as much without.
And
just if I may,
I think it's great that this image has generated so much commentary, if nothing else.
I was just going to add my 2 cents and say I kind of like the sky in it, and that as a possibility to just mask the sky in Lightroom and darken it so that it matches the water color a little bit.
Alan, I'm with you on that in a sense that I like what Jim did as far as adding the trees. But if you're going to do that sky, give it some color. And if you're going to give it some color, give it something like a blue to offset the yellows in there. It doesn't have to be a heavy blue, just some sort of color in there to actually complement the yellows. But you'd have to put a little bit of that in the water as well.
On almost all my landscapes, I take 2 shots, and one of them is 2 shots underexposed. And then I use blend if, and you get a nice, it takes that white sky away. And sometimes there are even clouds back there that you can't see through the white sky. I just do it as a matter of, habit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is super early morning. So just in terms of like making the sky blue.
As I mentioned, and I'm sorry to sound like I'm cutting you off, but what I'm getting at is that you don't want to, and I strongly emphasize that you have so much beautiful color in here to have just that bald white.
Yes. Yeah. I was hoping that there would be clouds, but
and see, Chris made a good point. The exposure is there if you were to make that exposure. If you did a 3-frame bracket on this in HDR, that blue would actually be there.
I probably have those exposures.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you don't want to do the HDR, I learned that a long time. What's the name from Adobe, the older guy that comes up with all the neat stuff?
Dr. Brown.
John
Brown, yeah.
Dr. Brown.
Probably 10 years or so or more ago. He started showing how to get things out when you think you got an overexposure, but if you do 2 of them and always that. The second one, that underexposure is in reserve. So when you need to use blend if, just move those little sliders from the right and split them. And there's incredible stuff back there.
Well, I agree with you, Chris, but I also want you to know that HDR has a bad rap. When you're blending two exposures, that's the same as HDR in a sense.
I know.
It's just not using the automation of it. And I think Jim at one point showed you how he uses a 3-frame blend inside of Photoshop. Is that correct, Jim? Or am I missing this?
Yeah, a lot of times they say I composite as opposed to going through an HDR automated algorithm.
Yeah,
I will actually do, you know, old fashioned composite masking.
So I have an editing question here. One thing that I feel like is not captured in this photo is how unbelievably cold it was. But like if you go and you put the blue back in the sky, you're like, a lovely fall day. It was not lovely. It was freezing. So I don't know how and you can see like the smoke of the lake.
Yeah, on the water.
Yeah.
Hold a thermometer up in the lower right hand corner of the picture.
It looks cold.
If you want more cold, then darken and blue the image a bit more. Blue gives you the illusion of coldness.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you were to if you're gonna do anything, you're gonna darken down, and then the water itself would, yes, okay, you're getting that feeling there.
Nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
It looks a little chillier now, doesn't it?
Right. Yes.
You can find this spot pretty easily, but you do have to jump over a highway barrier and then slide down a hill to get there.
Diana, may I say that it is worth it to bring these shots here so that we can see them?
Oh, thanks.
There you go. It's a chilly fall morning in New Hampshire.
There you go.
That's nice. I like that. Okay.
Oh, and hey, remember, I invited Diana to Camera Club, so I get some credit.
Yeah, he gets credit.
Good job.
Out of curiosity, do we have so I want to be forced to composite. Would any of our like upcoming assignments include compositing?
No. Like some education on compositing?
Oh, I am generally only officially doing new things when I'm being forced to do them with a deadline. So I was thinking of a monthly assignment.
You want to be forced into compositing by an assignment.
Yes.
Gotcha. No, I don't think any of the 2024 assignments specifically call for compositing.
Okay, maybe 2025.
Oh, you're thinking long term.
Okay, Diana, since you're online with a live microphone, would you like to recite the title for this so that I don't mangle the words and mispronounce anything?
Oh, I think I said save water, drink Veuve Clicquot.
All right, so I would have pronounced it correctly, but I'm glad you did it for me. That's how I was going to pronounce it.
That's what it says on the little sign.
That's what it says from the sign, and that is the title. I just didn't want to mispronounce Veuve Clicquot. and see, I just fumbled over the words anyway.
It's okay. That's what happens.
I need to drink some. I'll be better.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm only drinking water right now. That's the problem.
Diana, I want you to look at the word "boo" on the door. Do you see it?
Yes, it's so spooky.
All right, now I want you to go above that to that whatever that crossbar is called, right above that.
Yeah, the lintel.
Is that what it's called?
That's what I'm calling it.
All right, now go
that
right
is the correct term. That is what it is.
A lintel. Now go right above that to that corner piece, and I'll say that your cropping needs to be lower or higher.
Yeah. I think that this image was straightened And then I pulled the crop
It's a,
up and down.
it's a
and
little
to the
off
side.
with the
Yeah, it's a
with
little
the
off.
straightening.
This is in Beacon Hill in Boston. But that looks
There
good.
you go. That's a little closer, but I would have taken that window off the edge, and as Robert says, yeah, there.
Somewhere in that, and bring that in.
Actually,
I did this exact thing a lot.
Yeah, just a few minor things around the frame edges.
Yeah.
But there we go. Yeah, and the compositionally, this flow, from what's going on down here with the stairs bringing you up. It says boo, and the colors still work. The orange through the windows and everything. It all ties together. So you can work your way up here. Get boo, and come back down to what's going on here with this kind of diagonal flow of elements through here.
I wish I could take credit for doing the decorations.
Yeah, just take credit for doing the shot.
All right.
All right, this is Moonrise from Sea and Rocks. Does anybody want to take one guess who the artist is on this one?
I would like to tell the artist to make sure that they have their mic up.
Luann.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be my
Isn't
guess.
isn't it nice when an artist develops enough of a style that you can just look at the image and know the artist because they've developed a style that you just look at it and know.
How high was the score?
What, Brian?
So how high was the score? How
high was the
high
score?
was the score?
Okay, this is from Lee Wen, right? And it's a 24.1.
Oh, that's a 29.
That's unweighted. Lee Wen.
Yes.
Why is it that you go to these places and don't take me with you?
I wonder the same thing sometimes.
Is this in Vik in Iceland?
Yes.
Wow, the mood is just like really. I'm like imagining where you are. You were there on just the right day for having the full moon rise, super far south.
Actually, we didn't know there was going to be a moon. So other people was on another side. So the moon actually is on the right side. But I thought if I can somehow get in the between, so I keep walking past the rock, and I guess other people didn't think that can be passed. So I went past that. So I was the only one on another side. I get the moon right in the middle. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Can I, what was the score again, JR?
24.1.
Okay.
Unweighted.
Oh, all right.
And that's without that, and that doesn't have the plus one modifier that a sign gets. That's a natural 24.1.
I was gonna say, how could that be so low? Okay, I got it.
That's a natural 24.1. It's in general, so it doesn't have that bonus point on it.
Without the 25.
Lee Wen. Now, one of the things on the retreat, I was on the retreat with board retreat with Lee Wen, and her work ethic as far as photography is unmatched. She gets up very, very early, gets out there and scours whatever location when everybody else is sleeping or in the bathroom, just brushing their teeth and stuff. She's out there shooting. And one day, in fact, on this one day, because she came back with such incredible shots, the next day we all got up and went out to shoot where she was shooting. So
yeah, that's exactly right. Great way to put it, Robert. The work ethic, pays off. She puts the effort into it. She doesn't just walk around with a camera and just randomly find things. She works. Even as she said with this, she kept walking because she knew she could place the moon between the rocks. And I get that. I did a shot with a moon in Goblin Valley in Utah once, where I saw where the moon was and I saw some other rocks, saw the composition I wanted to make, and I knew the moon was rising and would be out of the composition soon. So I didn't walk. I ran about a third of the mile through crazy rock formations like a maze to get to a spot where I could put the boom where I wanted it before it got too high and couldn't be where I needed it to be. And, I get it. You just, sometimes you're lucky and you're just there and the shot is there. But a lot of times, and, and Lee Wen is a great example, like Robert says, of doing this, putting the work in to make it happen.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good
So
job.
I have a story about that I have a story like that from just yesterday morning. I've been to the Blue Ridge Parkway 3 or 4 or 5 times, and I knew about this one particular place where there was a good shot. And I got out there early yesterday morning, and I mapped out. I planted my spot, and I was shooting at the sun. And about a half an hour later, before sunrise, this guy comes out with one of the with something or just a ridiculously big look, but frame camera, and he was pointing a different direction. He was pointing to the right of me, and I made a comment. I said, "So it looks like you just got started in photography yesterday." And of course, he and his wife are female companion. Had kind of a rapport going, and just seconds before the scheduled sunrise, he was light is just perfect, and I'm wondering if you could just back up for about 10 seconds. And I'm looking at him like, I've been here for an hour for this shot at sunrise, and you want me to move now? And not a friendly look, but I actually did move because he's got like $20,000 worth of camera equipment, and he's probably doing this for a living, and I'm not. So I moved, and then after he got his shot, he said, "Okay, thanks." And I moved back, and it was too late for my shot, but I had other shots I could get. But then later it occurred to me, and I handed him one. I carry with me business cards with an email address on for, like, if I take somebody's photo and I say, "Hey, if you send me an email, I'll get you the photo," or something like that. So I handed him one of those cards and I said, "Hey, I'd like to see the photo that I let you get." And he said, "Oh yeah, I will definitely do that." So I haven't heard from him yet, but I'll be interested to see if he sends me that photo, because for some reason he thought shooting at the sunrise was not the shot, and this other shot was better. So I'm interested to see what he got and if he actually sends it to me.
I'm kind of team screw that guy. Like, next time, don't let him do that.
What?
I don't know, that
well,
story kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That guy kind of being kind of self-centered. Sorry you had to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll pay off. I'll learn some. If he actually sends me the shot and I learn something from it, maybe it'll be worthwhile.
There's a good attitude.
And one more thing about that, just because you have $20,000 worth of equipment doesn't mean that you have an eye for it.
You got the right time.
I personally know some people that have more expensive and nicer equipment than I will ever own in my lifetime that don't know what they're doing with it.
Absolutely. See it all the time.
And I even have she's doing the right thing. I have a student I'm working with now that it's the same thing, with video stuff. She has video equipment that I drool over, and she says, "Yeah, but I need help. I need help with this stuff. I have great equipment, but my work sucks. Help me."
Absolutely.
So anyway, this is Pale Flamingo from Mike Williams with a score of 24.2. I wish it had just a little bit more room at the top, but beyond that.
Oh, yes.
But
yes.
This is just so beautiful, and it would only take a second with generative expand to just add a little bit onto that.
Little tight.
But otherwise
I really love
beautiful.
this photo. I
What?
like this. I said I really love this photo. I really like the soft edges.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could be hanging on a wall for sure. Absolutely.
Mhm.
This is from Diana Rao. Bathing is so much fun. Score of 23.5.
Uh-oh. That stick coming out of his butt bothers me.
That's his tail.
That's
his tail.
That's not his tail.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes,
thing in the
that's
back is his tail.
that's his tail.
Looks like a stick.
It's wet.
Son of a gun. Well, if an idiot like me could think it's a stick, I would have cloned it out because other people would be stupid like me and think it's a stick. I've never seen anything like that. Wow.
Yeah. This is a great shot. I don't think we needed all the shrubbery back there to tell the story.
Lots of action in this.
Yeah. Now that's it right there. That's
Their tails were so much thicker and wider.
it's wet.
I need to watch National Geographics more.
Go to the zoo.
I'm starting to wonder if you've ever seen an elephant before.
Yeah, I have.
I thought their tails were bushy like a raccoon.
Even if a raccoon's tail gets wet, it gets real skinny.
Now I see the little hairs.
Some little hairs on it, you know, and whatnot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's amazing how that looks like a stick to me.
And this is also from Diana. This is Ostrich Glamour Shot with a score of 24.
Those are way better than my ostrich photos, and I'm really jealous.
This is nice.
Yeah.
It has a beautiful color palette, beautiful softness behind it. You know, as the composition, the arc of the bird with the wing extended out there in the head. This is great. This is very well done.
Yep.
This is very nice work from Diana. I don't know if she's still here tonight or not.
Yeah, I
but,
think she's in Egypt somewhere.
That's
a different
a
Diana.
hockey game, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't think she was in Egypt yet, but
it might as well be if she's not listening to your great comment about it.
Mm-hmm. So, when you watch the recording, Diana, nicely done. Okay, this is from one guess who this is from. This is titled "With Himba Girls" from Fong, with a score of 20.8. The glaring problem with this here, I actually have. Let me get I've got an original here. It's focused on the buildings and the trees and everything in the background. Again, this is one of those, missed focus. It's all focused back there on the building, and you can see how out of focus all the people are here. So yeah, let me see here. Let me get back to my screen. What was this shot with? Oh, this was shot with a Nikon D750. So again, this is a case of the focus point was totally missed the subject.
So did she have it on a tripod with a timer and go back to getting the
No,
shot?
No, she has a voice activated camera remote control. That's her husband.
Oh, so she didn't take the shot? Okay.
Fong says, "Take my picture," and the button gets pushed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this my camera in here drop down on the floor, so cannot focus well. Then go back. This some of the fix for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of those is my cousin.
So I have a comment here, Fawn, there's clear cultural difference here with respect to how women dress. Why didn't you make any effort to blend in?
Like when in Rome kind of a thing.
Yeah. I think the one lady is saying, Fong, you need to take it off.
That was funny, Brian. Okay, this is a road to be wary of. Marked as altered reality from Jim Hagan, score of 22.8. Yeah, I wouldn't want to take a turn too wide on that road. I get that.
In this particular case, this is going to the Sun Road. If you guys have been up to Glacier National, I'm a little bit acrophobic, I guess, and I tried to look over the edge. It's about 900 feet straight down. Yeah, it was a little bit tightening.
What makes this altered reality?
Did you add something in the sky?
The sky was completely blown out, so I put in the sky.
That's what I figured was the case. Well, you did well. You made a good choice. You made a good choice with the sky and made a good realistic blend with the sky. I'll say you did well with that technically.
The only thing I was missing possibly was one of those buses with the people in it or something, but that just wasn't there.
Tell Generative Phil that you want a bus going around a corner on two wheels. That's the prompt you need to give Generative Phil for this one.
This road had a lot of pucker power, and in my truck I have way too many safety features, and my mirrors kept on going out, and you had to run with your mirrors tucked in. So I had a finger on the mirror button while I was driving. I had to keep pushing it in. But yeah, this is an interesting road to drive on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a friend of mine with an RV was on this road, and a Jeep came around a curve in his lane, and he actually had to swerve over and scraped the whole side of his RV on those rocks and tore it all up and did $6,000 worth of damage to his RV on those rocks.
Well, when you're on the side of the cliff, which I was right here, you're going west to east, and then you had to turn around and come back. That's when you're on the side of those rocks, and that was very, very, very tight driving.
Mm-hmm.
That looks, although it's not anywhere near as high. I was in Colorado this year. My buddy did me a big favor. He took me up to Grand Lake, and the road that you're on, it's the highest road in the United States. You're over 12. You're above the tree line, so the trees can't even grow there. I was nauseous the whole time. The only place they have guardrails, they don't even have stones like that. There's no guardrails unless you're making a curve. Other than that, you've got about a 5 or a 6 foot shoulder, and beyond that shoulder, I don't know how many thousand feet drop you have. It is absolutely terrifying, and he didn't tell me in advance.
Well, where I was sitting right here, where I took this shot, there was a gal that was parked behind us, and I told him that I was acrophobic. She decided to walk over and sit on those blocks. They're about 18 inches wide, and it was straight down. It was, I don't know how she did it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They only did it to taunt you.
I guarantee it.
Right.
My cam's not working. You can see that I lost all my hair. I got so pregnant.
So this is also from Jim Hagan. This is Rising Above the Clouds.
Jim, you're a little flat on this image.
You know, that's the first thing that I did. I after I turned it in, I cranked up the contrast to about a 48, and it made it look a little bit better. Yeah. Only thing I did to this, well, I did a lot of adjustments to it, but I made the trees brighter in the foreground, and we were on Beartooth Road up in top of Yellowstone.
There you go.
Yeah. Tim Sites, which Lightroom version are you using?
This is Lightroom on the web.
Lightroom on the web. Okay, great.
Because I just have the web gallery from Lynn. I don't have the original photos. And so this is within the web gallery itself. So this is Lightroom on the web. It is the, you know, because it's on the web, it's automatically updated by Adobe. It is the latest version of Lightroom Web.
Oh, great. That's good to know.
That's good to know. All right.
And this is titled Such a Beauty from Li Wen with a score of 24. Yep, that is very nice. Is there anything you wanted to say about this, Li Wen?
Oh, this is the flamingo.
I recognize it's a flamingo. Where was the flamingo here or on one of your travels?
In Honeymoon Island. So after hurricane, they I think they spread out in for DeSoto on Clearwater side. So there was one in Honeymoon Island. So she was in the lagoon. So this is a sunset time. Lighting is beautiful. The water, the lagoon, so that water is pretty calm. So that's how we shot on this. I mean,
great reflections in the and that's what I was wondering. Was this a flamingo on one of your travels, or was this one of the ones that got that accidentally? From here.
Yeah,
one of the ones that accidentally wound up here.
Yeah.
Li Wen?
Yes.
I love the way you tell lies to all of these people in this camera club.
I tell lie. What lie I tell?
That is a store-bought flamingo, and all you did was spray water over his head. That's a yard flamingo, and you put it in the water and sprayed water over his head. That's not a real flamingo. Nobody could get a shot this perfect like that.
Well, we had a lucky day, but by end of the day, when the sun went down, the mosquito, oh my God, it'll kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad.
Wow.
Okay, this is Framed Sunrise from Brian Schneider, 23.2.
Brian,
go ahead, Robert.
Now I was going to say, Brian, I just wish that your exposure could have been just a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Just a bit earlier.
Understand what that means.
What the
What do you
sun was
mean?
above the horizon?
Yeah, no, that sun is a little hot just before it came over the horizon. It had a softer palette. It would have a softer palette to it.
The compositionally.
In other words, I was late.
A little.
Is it sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Sunrise. Okay.
This is sunrise. Compositionally, it almost feels like the sun is being poked by this stick.
I was wondering about that. I thought I wasn't sure if I got really lucky.
But if you move the sun slightly to the left,
I could have got that.
Yeah, slightly to the left.
And actually, if you had raised the camera up a little bit and gotten this stick below the horizon line, the stick intersects with the horizon line with the sun. That multiple intersection there is a little bit visually disconcerting to me in this image compositionally.
I was wondering about that because I actually did remove part of it, and I was wondering if I should remove more. And
oh, okay, so there was more of it pointing up into the sun. Is that what happened?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I got rid of it.
Take it down to
so I should have gotten rid of even more of it, is what you're telling me.
Take it down to that little bump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right from there up.
Well, I can do that.
JR's going a little crazy with it, but let's see.
Yeah,
Oh.
much better.
Let me make the I can make the tool disappear here. Let's see if it'll update. Yeah, there we go. It's got to update now. There you go.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, okay. So that was, I mean, one of the reasons I submitted the photo was to find that out, and I found it out. So
And
I
it's
don't care.
yeah,
about
I
the story, I care
feel
about black and white.
especially with your title of framed sunrise, it's now more well framed without the sun being poked by a stick. It made it look like the sun was, like on a, like a lollipop, on a stick, as opposed to a sun within a frame.
Brian, if you poke the sun, you end up as driftwood.
Oops, that was the wrong thing to do. Right. Nope, I don't want either of those. I just want to reset it. There we go. That'll take a minute. And this is Starlit Bridges, also from Brian Schneider, score of 23.2.
Now, Brian, I'll tell you, I enjoyed this shot simply for the fact that it had the bridge as a base and the stars as the subject. I really enjoyed the shot. I know that technically, as far as the stars are concerned, there might be something that says that the stars are what do you call it? They're too lengthy, too long. But
they're fat because they're slightly defocused.
Right.
And I see why. It was shot at f1, and the bridge is in focus, and the stars, which are hundreds of light years away, are out of focus at f1 when the bridge is in focus.
What do you mean it was shot at f1?
That's what it says right here.
I can't
f1.
shoot it.
I'm looking at the metadata right over
My
here. It's f1.
Well, that lens, the best it can do is f2.
Apparently,
that's the Roca now. It can't do, can't do f1. It can only do f2.
It does
f1.
Let me
I
ask
used
you.
it last night. Believe me.
All right, let me ask you this, Brian. Does it have a full set of electrical contacts to communicate with the camera? Or is it a manual, or is it a complete manual lens?
No. Complete manual lens. That's the Roca.
Okay, there you go. So the camera can't read the f value of the lens, so the camera just places a default value of f1 in the metadata because it can't actually read the lens. That's what's going on here then. So do you have any idea what f-stop it was actually shot at?
f2.
Okay, f2. Well, still f2
it was
is
actually shot at f2.
Yeah, so it's still the same situation at f2. The bridge is in focus, but it's still narrow enough, shallow enough depth of field that when the bridge is in focus, the stars, at f2, that's pushing it a little bit. And but this is not bad.
No.
We're just pointing out a technical fact. We're not knocking the image, because this is actually very nice. This is a very pleasing image. I agree with Robert.
Hey, Brian.
So
don't ever question Jim. If he asks you a question, just go along with him, because in the court of law, and you're sitting on the stand, he just debunked anything you were saying.
No.
But look
But
at
no,
that.
So how do I fix? How do I make it better? Let me ask.
If you want it, obviously with that lens, with the depth of field it has at f2, this is a clear case for compositing. Focus once on the bridge, focus once on the stars, put it together. Simple.
Thank you for that answer. That tells me what I need to know.
Yeah, just like I say, and yeah, because at f2, obviously the optics of that lens is shallow enough at f2 that it's going to be difficult to get the bridge in front of you and the stars. If you wanted pinpoint stars, that would be the way to do it. Just do it in 2 shots and composite, one for the sky, one for the bridge. Have them both in full sharp focus. But we're not knocking this image. This is not displeasing that that the stars look like this. If you printed this large, to hang on a wall, that would be an issue. But for what we're looking at with this, with the stars, that's it's not that bad.
Yeah,
It's a lovely image to look at. It's a great night sky image of the bridge. The exposure of the bridges and the water and everything is great, because it really gives you the sense of being late at night without it being overexposed, but all the detail that you need is there. This is very well done with the exposure for both the sky and the foreground down here. That was very well done. What'd you do? 15 seconds at ISO 800? Yeah, that's great.
Had a good teacher.
Okay, this is Swallowtail Drink Bar from Sylvia. Score of 23.
Jim, we can't see your screen.
You lost my screen?
Yeah, we see you.
I got it.
No, I have it.
Oh, okay, just me.
You guys see a butterfly on here, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Something with Karen's.
I'm
Get it,
fixed. I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
My
Now-
problem is that intersection right there. Yes, that's my problem right there. And I know that there are things you can do to get that taken care of.
It's a tangent,
Yes.
and tangents. People tend to visually have problems with tangents, and that's especially in architectural photography and stuff. That's one of those things architectural photographers watch out for is creating tangents with the angle that things are shot at and whatnot. But
So we've got-
overall, this
Yeah, that's a beautiful image.
technically this was nailed with with the depth of field being enough for what it is, tack sharp where it needs to be, beautiful
Beautiful image.
background.
Great.
Yeah, that's for me, that's overall, that's that's a nitpicky thing about that. Yeah, it's there, but overall, beautiful.
Yes. Agree 100%. Sylvia, you got anything to say about this?
No, I thank you for the compliment. It's getting late, so I can ask those questions another time. I'm not sure how other than shoot it at a different angle.
No.
I'm not sure how I get rid of that.
Or even continue to shoot. Sometimes the butterflies move their tongue around to different places in the flower, and the tongue will move positions, or the proboscis, as I think it's actually called,
Right.
will move if you take a series of pictures.
Well, I do. I've got
Okay.
I've got so many. So maybe
Well, there you go.
I'll look and see. But thank you very much.
We're just 2 away from the end.
Mm-hmm. And this is titled "Coming In" from Susan Huckabee. 23.2 is the score. I really like the juxtaposition of the wind sock. Giving the whole indication of like it's an airport. What's upwind? What's downwind? The bird. The bird landing into the wind as would be appropriate with this. It's fun.
Yes.
It's fun the way that was put together and done.
And I wish I could tell you that I really planned that, but I was really taking a picture of the one on the roof, and I kept waiting for him to turn around. And I just had the camera up, and the other eagle just flew right into the shot.
And you had and you were prepared, and you had the presence of mind and the instinct to push the button at the right time.
Oh, many times.
So there you go. Good job.
Great job.
And last in general, this is titled Snowflowers. This is a very interesting plant, by the way, if anybody doesn't know about this plant. But as far as technically on this, I see it was done with a flash, and it kind of has a little bit of a flash look. I did a little work with this just to give an alternate presentation with cropping out all this excess up here and changing some values and stuff, just to give something to look at an alternate version where I took some of the some of the washed out look of the flash out of it, cropped off the top, and burned down the edges a little bit to draw the focus in on there. These are some tips that I would suggest as post-processing techniques for that. You can see the difference there. Let me see if I can do this.
Parasitic plants are cool.
Yeah, there is some flowers on here. You can zoom in and see, like right here, you see the flowers budding off of this. It's called a snow plant. And so if you notice, what's interesting, the actual flowers and the entire plant itself are red. And actually, this is just a protrusion of the main plant runs underground. It has no chlorophyll in it. These plants don't perform photosynthesis. They got all their nutrients from fungus underground. Do you see the pine cones and the needles?
Right.
These are found around conifer trees, and conifer trees have a symbiotic relationship with certain fungi, and then this plant grows there because it gets its nutrient off of the fungi that has a symbiotic relationship with the conifer trees. So there's
whose shot was it?
There's your little biology lesson to go with it. This is Valerie Kay's.
All right. Valerie?
Yeah.
What you did not know is that Jim Sykes was an advisor to the Mr. Spock on Star Trek.
That's your botanical lesson for the night. They're a cool plant. They're really visually striking.
Yeah, they're beautiful. We cut those up in by Edison Lake in California.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very hairy road to get back there, but once you're back there, it's beautiful. Beautiful place. So what was the score?
The score was 21.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have my Photoshop anymore. My computer died.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So you lost more than just Photoshop.
So I could, all I did was crop it a little bit, and that's all I could do because I didn't have anything to work on.
Yeah, so it's except for a minor crop, it's pretty much straight out of camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What camera was used on this? I see there's no metadata. Just curious as to what you shot it with.
It was I think a Canon 20D or a 5D.
Was it? Did you had a flash on the camera?
It's possible.
Well, there's definitely a flash used in the photo. I just wondered, was it a mounted on the camera flash or a pop-up flash? Looks like it might have been a pop-up flash.
Yeah, it could have been my 20D then because it has the pop-up. My 5D doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely photographed with a flash because it looks like it was a backlit situation, and the camera probably automatically turned on the flash, which is good that it did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, without my like the Photoshop and all that, I couldn't do anything. I mean, when it rains, it pours.
Nice. And just so you know, do you have anything that accesses the internet, or do you have mobile devices?
Well, I'm using my dad's computer, but I got 16
50 gigabytes and it's already, it almost
Just
looks.
just so you know, there is also Photoshop on the web. Just like we're using Lightroom on the web right here, there is Photoshop on the web, and there is Photoshop mobile that you can if you can get the image to a mobile device, you can work on it with Photoshop mobile or Photoshop on the web.
Okay. I'll have to look
So
into that.
those are options, just to make you aware. If you, like I say, you don't have your real Photoshop on your real computer available to you, but in a pinch, those are a couple options that you've got: Lightroom mobile, Lightroom on the web, Photoshop mobile, and Photoshop on the web.
Okay. Yeah.
So there are some fallback options, in a pinch if you really need to do some work on something. So there we go. That's a wrap for the exhibition for tonight. That was good job.
Good job, everyone.
Yeah.
Jim, if I could come back to your comments on Brian's photo with the bridge and the stars, and you recommended taking 2 shots, one of the bridge, one of the stars, and compositing them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same as focus stacking? That
technically would be a 2-image focus stack, because focus stacking is compositing. Focus stacking is a particular form of compositing. So you're exactly right. That would be a foreground and a background. That would be a 2-shot focus stack composite. You're absolutely correct.
Okay, thank you.
So
I can't
this
remember.
is a good point you made.
I can't remember whether you said a composite was AR, even with focus stacking.
No, the composite's not AR. You have not added or subtracted anything that was in that scene.
Okay.
That's simply a technical process. You're not adding or subtracting anything from that scene by doing that. So you would not need to indicate that as altered reality if you did focus stacking, compositing, in this case.
Okay.
Now if you composited in a flying saucer or something here, yeah, that's AR.
Oh, right. Right. Well, what about stitching?
So Jim,
panoramas.
No, that's not AR.
Okay.
That's not adding or subtracting anything that was there.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, Brian.
My camera pretty well. Would an in-camera focus stack be what you would recommend, or just take 2 shots and do it in post?
Not at night, because your focus stack would not it's getting technical, but it would not understand optical infinity to the stars doing a focus stack this way. You could go in and manually set the parameters for it. You've got manual and auto for that, but you're going to spend a couple seconds doing a quick 2-shot composite versus all the settings you'd have to go through to make a in-camera focus stack work.
So there. Well, good night, y'all.
Good night, Chris. Thanks. Thanks everybody for hanging out as long as we did. We had some great discussions tonight. That's what this is all about.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
everybody.
This was definitely worth giving up a golden hour for.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Hey, Robert, I
Yeah.
want to make sure your phone number is 444-8897.
Yes, now the world knows it.
Huh?
Yes, you're right. It's the right number. That's the right number,
right?
Yes.
I can call you now.
Yeah, call me now.
All right, and I'm going to make note of everything in the chat before I close out of here. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Robert. Now where are you? You not in the temple?
Yeah, but now I got back what is it? Sunday.
Huh?
I got back Sunday.
You what's mean back up Sunday? Sunday, you are in travel? Huh? I just want to, huh? You back about Sunday in Tampa.